everyone, Father Norm. As probably many or most of you know, we are entering into what in Catholic tradition and other Christian traditions call Holy Week. In a way, and I've probably mentioned this before, that ideally we would see every week of our lives as a Holy Week, in the sense that divine God's presence is with us, is fashioning us, is guiding us, is healing us, is forgiving us, is trying to help us to be more whole and holy. But there's still significance to speak of these days as Holy Week, really expressing a ritual that maybe really is meant to remind us that year-round we should have that consciousness of all that God, through His Son, Jesus Christ, has been doing for us, still, even now, 2,000 years later. You know, one of the things about Holy Week coming up, it's actually, next Friday, we all know it's called Good Friday. And I have been asked several times when I give presentations sometimes on Holy Week, and I say, you have any questions? Repeatedly, the question I get the most is, why is that Friday that Jesus bled and died, why is that called Good Friday? I mean, there's nothing good about that. And when I talk about it, I give a little history lesson that's true in a sense that the early church, for the first couple hundred years, did not call that day Good Friday. You know, so many of them in that first century were aware of, or even there, seeing Jesus crucified. So many people in that culture knew how awful crucifixion was. And so for them, early on, they wouldn't call it Good Friday. And in fact, early on, you didn't have the cross as a central symbol. For them, wearing a cross or having it would be like us hanging, an electric chair around our neck. Something despicable, something awful. Why would you put something on your desk or around your neck that was all about where Jesus was bloodied, rejected, and battered? That makes no sense. So on level, we get that. On another level, it calls us to go deeper, not only in terms of understanding Good Friday, but looking at our own lives, where we have hurt, suffering, rejection, and somehow can we dare, maybe not in the midst of it, but say, God, even through all we're going through right now, personally in our lives and in the world, in the nation, can we see a good that you want to bring out of it? Not a good that you caused. Evil is caused by human beings, but a good you can bring out of that. And so for us, when we look at that, I talk about Good Friday, I say, you're right, as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't feel so good, doesn't look so good. On the other hand, it's very important in the life of Jesus and in our own lives to say, what's going on there? Is it just a death, a dying? It is. But really, when it comes down to it, and it's why God sent His Son, for He so loved the world, that Good Friday was Jesus Christ. Battered, bruised, bloodied, yes. Awful. Was He in agony? Yes. Did He feel abandoned by His friends? Yes. Did He go in the garden and wish this would go away? Yes. Through all of that, though, even at the end, He said, Father, forgive them, know not what they do. And He also said, in trusting His Heavenly Father, even though feeling abandoned earlier, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. The power of Good Friday, the goodness is God in Jesus showing His absolute, unconditional, merciful, ever-present, everlasting, eternal love. Yes, we in humanity and what happened there, the sin of the world, that it didn't turn Jesus into the path of revenge or retaliation or hatred. Many egged Him on in that regard. No, He continued to choose to love anyway. Love isn't just feeling wonderful and close to everybody. I'm sure He didn't feel that way on the way to the cross. But love is that daily decision and that choice that even when we're rejected or put down, as Jesus was, this is an opportunity to learn to love all the more. Maybe not to feel it, but the greater love is even when we don't feel it, when we're hurt, when we're lonely, and we still give of ourselves totally anyway. One quick example of that, I knew a man whose wife had Alzheimer's for about 5 years, and he took care of her. And a lot of people, especially in that last year, he was able to do that. He was retired, said, why don't you put her in a home? And obviously some people need that. But he said, no. They said, well, it's inconvenient. And he said to them and to me, he said, I love my wife. I promise to be with her through everything. I still am able to do this. It wasn't a place where he had to have other help. He said, as difficult and painful as it is. For me, it's something good I get to do. My wife was so good and sacrificed for me in so many other ways. And so thinking of Jesus, yes, this is one of the best things, a good experience I could have, that I love my wife in and through it all until I give her fully to a loving God who takes her in. And one day I get to join with her in that reunion that is forever. So, can we see the good even in difficult things? Doesn't mean we don't hurt, don't cry, don't gripe, but somehow see a good that can come through it anyway, only centered in God and the message of Jesus Christ. God bless you.